This week on The Big Picture, Beck targets George Soros, more cracks appear inside Fox News, and the right-wing press tries to help clean up Bush's disastrous record. Welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Lisa Reed. We begin this week with Glenn Beck, who is targeting philanthropist George Soros for his latest smear campaign. Beck dedicated multiple shows this week to an over-the-top attempt to paint Soros as a, quote, puppet master, who supports, quote, people who are taking our country apart piece by piece.
If you stop looking at the puppets themselves, you have to see who's behind the puppets. Who is choosing the puppets and the players? Who's the puppet master? George Soros.
So what is his target now? Us. America.
He said it himself on many occasions. He said, what I have done in other countries in terms of overturning bad governments, I'm going to do in this country.
Beck's case against Soros is composed of doctored quotes, already debunked smears, and intentional distortions, but it may be based on something darker too. Beck's puppet master rhetoric draws on a history of anti-Semitic stereotypes of sinister financiers trying to control the media and collapse countries.
I told you that there was a structure being put into place in our country, and it was designed to bring about the fundamental transformation that has been promised. Through the course of this journey of discovery, amazingly, all the paths, time after time, really led to one man, George Soros.
On Fox and his radio show, Beck has something of a history of citing anti-Semitic sources. He also dredged up an old false claim that Soros, a Holocaust survivor, collaborated with the Nazis. It's an accusation debunked by one of the books Beck claims to have read to research the show.
But when he had to go over and take the lands from the people, his Jewish friends and neighbors, who were being sent to the gas chambers, I can't imagine what that would do to a teenager or anybody, an adult. Well, what did it do to George Soros? In an interview with Steve Kroft, Soros was asked if he felt guilt at all about taking the property from the Jews as a teenager. He responded, no.
And while he was at it, Beck weaved an elaborate conspiracy theory that Soros controls President Obama and our government, relied heavily on discredited books attacking Soros, and used scary music to imply Soros' support for anti-Soviet pro-Western groups in Eastern Europe was somehow evil. Just as he has with the Tides Foundation, Beck is trying to make his audience believe Soros is a terrifying figure bent on the destruction of the Constitution and the economy. These attacks on Soros are sloppy hit jobs even by Beck's low standards. There are too many outright lies to cover here, but you can see all the false claims and the reality at MediaMatters.org. We all know Fox News has turned from a conservative news source into an outright political campaign. And more, the professionals who work for Fox are starting to realize what they've been roped into. This week, Media Matters' Joe Strupp talked to two sources inside Fox who are upset with the so-called news network's political turn and promotion of 2012 presidential candidates. One complained about how the political slugfests and extremists, like Beck and Hannity, hurt the network's credibility. Another asked, quote, why do we have to pander to the extreme? And worried that, quote, the opinion side bleeds over into the news side. You can read more investigative media reporting from Joe Strupp at our blog. You may have heard that former President George W. Bush has a new book out, and his friends at Fox are doing their best to try to shine up his legacy.
President George W. Bush telling his critics who's boss.
Using those techniques saved lives. My job was to protect America, and I did.
Sean Hannity literally hopped into Bush's pickup truck for a softball interview.
And this is my fishing lake.
You don't seem like you went through any transition. You just...
No, I really didn't.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to be an 8-year president.
Mm-hmm.
And 8 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure, a lot of opportunities.
While Fox figures and right-wing media outlets promoted the disputed claim that waterboarding detainees saved lives.
Mr. Bush makes a persuasive case, pointing out that those who oppose his policies are entitled to their opinions, but they're dead wrong because by using waterboarding, some of us were certainly most kept alive.
We'll leave you today with some evidence that our aggressive monitoring and fact-checking has gotten under Steve Doocy's skin. For all the latest, visit us at MediaMatters.org and join us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Using the cash to simply try to get rid of News Corp's Fox News, and that's exactly what's happening.
Well, and you know, we were talking around the time of the Juan Williams firing over at NPR. We were talking about how he had invested $1.8 million in NPR, and he'd given Media Matters, which really it seems like their sole purpose in life is just to try to run us out of business. It looked like George Soros was trying to control the media.